Update. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I believe I am live, but this is the first time I've done this for quite some time. So I'm just going to wait and see if any of you actually turn up. No idea how well the notification buttons work, but essentially I wanted to do a just chatting stream with everybody so I could attempt to get to know more of you, the viewers. But that's all dependent, obviously, if anyone actually shows up here, because I've, like I said, the live stream button I've not pressed for a long while. So it says no one in chat so far, but I don't know whether I'm actually genuinely live or not. So I'm going to check over here.
You can still hear me, mate.
I can. I am live. Excellent. Can you put something in chat then, Luke? Oh, someone's here. Someone is here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Oh, well, now I'm such an idiot that I can't see the chat. It's not expanding properly. I will talk to you guys in a second. One moment. 34 viewers. That is bizarre. Sorry, everyone. I cannot see the chat. Ah, now I can. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I am Richard, the creator of the Top Hat Gaming Man. I apologise if I slip between character and out of character. I was a professional wrestler for over a decade. I've been running this channel for 8 years, all consistently playing the same character. And unfortunately, due to that, I have side effects, which I'd like to refer to as K-blurred, where reality gets blurred with kayfabe. And I struggle to talk to a camera without slipping into full Top Hat Gaming Man persona. You actually see Hulk Hogan regularly do the same thing whenever he is interviewed. So hello to you, Mr. Bandclap, who said, yeah. A massive yeah to you as well. Hello, Board S. Thegus. Hello. Hello, James Moore. I am indeed live. Thank you for letting me know. Hello, Derek Dazzle. You are on. Thank you. And once again, Mr. Bandclap. Peace, man. Peace to you. Indeed, as well. Christian Gutierrez, apologise for pronouncing your name wrong. You also have informed me I am live, so thank you. Abraham, hiya to you as well. 626 Drone, hi, watching from Los Angeles. Hello to you from your country of the United States. Hello from the United Kingdom across the pond. Sam Fury says hi from Australia, down under. Let me know which part. I've been there as well. Love a bit of Australia. Hello from Game Maker 2D Fighter. Hey, how's it going? Are you a Mugen creator by any chance? Game Maker 2D Fighter. Retro Respawn. Hello to you, Craig. How are you doing? Electroburst X says sup. Sup to you. Tony Nidus, my favourite guy. You're my favourite guy for calling me your favourite guy. So thank you to you. That is Shinan? How do you pronounce that? Shunan Young? You over Hogan a million times over. Thank you very much, brother. What you gonna do? Terudros the Third or Tuadros Trez maybe? Sup? Hello from East Lansing in Michigan. Hello to you. Not that far from where my aunt lives in Toronto, from remembering driving across America and Canada in the past. I don't think they're that far apart. Yes. I think my geography is correct there. Let me know. Strategy. I'm across the pond. Yes, you are indeed. Hello to you. Knuckle Sandwich, Mr. Top Hat. Greetings from down under. A lot of representation from Australia tonight. So, yes. Echidnas. What else can I say about that? Kangaroos. Wallabies. A lot of nice animals there, provided they don't kill you. Nerds for words. Hello, Mr. Top Hat Game Man. Greeting from Texas. Been a fan of your channel for a long time. And as of now, I am a fan of you as well for your kind words. So thank you very much. Just Street. You'll be doing this all night. What are you here for? I am here. Thank you. And that is my good friend Street for keeping me on track. My purpose here is I'm a YouTuber. And what part of a YouTuber's job is supposed to be? It's meant to be community relations. I'm supposed to communicate with you, my audience. So I want to build up a better rapport and get to know more of you on a better basis. Because at the moment, I've just been churning out content for years on end, which is all well and good. I like entertaining you all, but it'd be really nice to get to know you all as well, because that way I could tailor my content even further to your needs, especially if I get lots of nice suggestions from you lot as well. And so I think the best way to do that is if I can start getting some of you to join my Discord. So that way we can chat during the week. I've not been using Discord much recently, so it's very quiet. But let's start changing that. This is the best way to get to know each other. Copy, have I got that right? Edit the link. Generate new link, copy. Okay. So here is the link. It'd be nice to see some of you over now. Oh, now it's saying I've got to sign into chat to be able to talk myself. Okay, maybe I can do it on YouTube. Let's have a look. YouTube.com. My favourite website. Right. Saying, let's switch over. Can I type in my own chat? Where am I? Very professional, eh? This is what happens if you don't do many live streams. Okay. All I'm trying to do is find my own text box so I can type in. Here it is. Okay. All I'm trying to do. Oh, here it is. Is it going to come up? There we go. So this would be awesome. The more of you who can join my Discord, the better. A primary reason I'd like you to join is, like I said, so we can start discussing a lot of fighting games, a lot of beat 'em ups on a more casual basis, away from being live right now. So here is the link. Awesome if you go over there. I will be plugging that link throughout because, like I said, I want to get to know more of you so I can tailor my content more to your needs. If I've not said hello to you as of yet, feel free to say hello again. In the meantime, I want to see who else is here and get to know you. So we've got Nerds for Words, who I do believe I spoke to earlier, says, muchly appreciated. How are you doing? Day going well, perhaps? Yes, it has been a fine day, thank you. I've decided to take Monday off and I'll be working for the rest of the working week. Well, apart from now, of course, this is technically work as well. TARDIS time. I've got work tomorrow, a bit too late, so I'll have to catch up. Good night, everyone. Have a good sleep, TARDIS time. Jay Green, how you doing? Hi, Top Hat. Hi to you. Nick Angelo, second channel. Hello from Cleveland, Ohio. The mistake on the lake. I have driven through Cleveland, Ohio, but I didn't find a reason to stop. I'm joking now. Yeah, I've genuinely driven through, but did I miss anything? I believe, is it true? The Miz is from there, from the WWE. If I'm correct. Let me know if I'm right. Kaio Kendo, what about Slam Dragon, that fake Tekken? Not even sure I'm familiar with that one. I might have to look it up. EK Tran, it's Google. Electro Buzz says, total hype for the new Virtua Fighter 6 game. Have they announced there is a Virtua Fighter 6 or is that rumours? If so, that's one I've missed. I do remember a while ago when they announced the Sega Power Surge. So Streets of Rage Revolution, a new Golden Axe, both of which look a bit sketchy, a bit sus, in my opinion. I know we got a new Crazy Taxi as well, but I didn't see the Virtual Fighter announcement. Is it official yet? Let me know, because I'm sure everyone else would be interested as well. Shane, I apologise. Shane Nathan Franklin. Your missus is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Thank you. I would not have married her unless I agreed with you. So, good taste, and thank you. Just Street. So, what have you been working for on your channel? Recently, I have been covering a lot of Mugen games because there's not that many documentary-style videos covering them. So, I thought that would be really interesting from my perspective anyway. Like, I've always found them a bit fascinating. And I'd covered a lot of open ball made games, so fan games made in a beat-em-up engine. So a lot of Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, Final Fight, Golden Axe, those sort of fan games. But I've just started doing some fighting fan games, which have been interesting. We've done Capcom versus the World, Street Fighter 2 Deluxe Edition, which has over 400 characters. And I also covered Marvel versus Capcom at Maximum, which has 156 characters. This week, the intention is, my editor absolutely hates me for this, we're first going to do a huge episode covering every single Streets of Rage game in one big video, which would last about 2 hours. However, we have made most of those videos in the past, so it'd just be like sticking a load of elements together. But one thing he does want to hang me for is I want to do a video what's going to cover every single Street Fighter 2 character and all of their lore in every Street Fighter game in one single video. So it's going to be the longest video we've ever made for this channel. God knows what it's going to clock out as. 6 hours, 7 hours, but I just felt it's probably the best thing to do in this run up to Christmas when the environment's highly competitive. So you need to get those really strong watch minutes in because you've got all the big YouTubers coming out to play at the moment, because a lot of them tend to make triple the amount of content around November and December. because they've got the power to get the best click-through rates and get their videos suggested the most. So their videos always go to the top of the pile. So when there's a lot of content out there, it's harder for me to get my content shown, being a medium-sized YouTuber. However, the double edge to this is all of those YouTubers get lazy and go to sleep for like January and February because there's not as much advertising revenue to make. So when the advertising revenue is down and I carry on making videos, they go out to a lot more people because the big boys, they just go asleep and go on holiday for those months. So it's far less competitive that time of year. Tariq Bayer says, are you going to finish the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan made by Acclaim to finish off a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series? I'll tell you what happened with that. I did intend to make a series covering every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. And the only reason why I stopped is because I was doing it for so long, I was no longer proud of the early episodes I made in the series. Like the way we edit them and produce them had moved on too much from the final episode to the last episode. So while I do indeed still want to cover all of the games, I feel like I've got to cover a lot of the early ones again until eventually, like that Street Fighter 2 video I just told you about, I will be able to one day upload the Ultimate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game retrospective, a big 6-hour video on every Turtles game. But I need to backtrack first and cover the classics before I feel I should be going forward and covering the newest entry. So that's what's going on with my coverage of Turtles games at the moment. Southtown Chi says, hi, I'd still dabble in Mugen and Ikemen. I'm going to have to look at this Ikemen, however that is pronounced, because a few people have mentioned that about that to me today. And I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with that one, so we'll look into that. Flimtalk says, just give me a 6-hour video about Cammy. There will be a good 25 minutes in the video dedicated to Cammy, as there will be most other Street Fighter characters. Street said, what do people think about shorts? Do they like the jokes? Okay, yeah. Give me your thoughts on my shorts. Do you enjoy my shorts? Do you think they're a waste of time? Are they to your taste? Let me know. Shane Nathan Franklin says, can you give us a tour of your collection? Something in the near future. Yes, I can. Speaking of shorts, shorts tend to get pushed based on how frequently you make them. So I've been producing them again. I've been getting a lot of what we call 1 of 10s in the YouTube game. So each short I've been producing recently has been getting more views than the previous one as and when they've been uploaded. So if you get good momentum and upload shorts like every day for a couple of months, they do start getting mega views. I'm talking like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of views. So once I get back to that phase, which I was in the summer of 2022 until I got burnt out from making so many shorts, once I've got back into that position and I'm getting like 20 million views on shorts a month, like back then, I would then be able to do a game room tour, because as of now, you can do shorts. You can make shorts in long, whatever you call it, portrait. Shorts. You can make streams in portrait, which you couldn't 2 years ago, I don't believe. So that would be the best way of showing you my game collection in the future, would be through doing a portrait live stream. But I'm not going to do a portrait live stream until I've got more of a shorts audience, because I would imagine that if I do a portrait stream, it'll be pushed out to my shorts audience rather than my long form audience. And I believe the system suggests the content slightly differently based on that, I think. But I'm no expert. No one truly is on YouTube. We've just got good ideas. Regardless, going on, oh, Knuckle Duster Buster is the man with a $10 donation. You see a man in a top hat, and you know a man in a top hat loves the money. So thank you so much for that. And he says, love your dedication of how in-depth you get with all detail in the fighting game stories and unused concepts. Are you preparing to make your own indie game? Love your coverage on some indie games. I would love to make an indie game. But obviously, there's 2 factors that hold me back. One is time, because this running this YouTube business takes an incredible amount of time. Because not only am I working on this channel, I'm also helping my wife, Lady Decade, with her channel as well. So between us, we're running 2 YouTube channels full time. So making an indie game on top of those 2 channels, it would be a bit of a reach without employing a much bigger team in order to pull that sort of thing off. And then secondly is obviously the know-how on how to do that, and even getting the right team to make an indie game as well. So as much as I'd enjoy making a game and I like the idea of it, I sadly do not feel unqualified at this stage to do such a thing. Maybe in the future, after a lot more research, but sadly I'll admit I'm not the man to do that at present. But it's a good idea, and I have had ideas in the past for stuff. Alinium Falcon says, who is your all-time favourite wrestling heel? Great question. Who is my all-time favourite? There's a lot. It depends, doesn't it, on the era But there's so many good wrestling heels. WWE, I've always been a big fan of William Regal. I like the way he mixes comedy in with his shenanigans, which is very entertaining, always has been. A lot of slapstick involved. But let's think, going back further than that, there's a lot of really interesting ones in the British circuit over the years. Les Kellett, look into Les Kellett. He's a very sinister man, very, very sinister, but he can also make you laugh. And to me, they're the best kind of people. People who are fucking terrifying, but can also make you laugh at the same time. They're the best, in my opinion. They're honest. I like them. And my wife, Lady Decade, has donated £2 of our joint income to the stream. Not sure why she's done that other than attention seeker. So thank you, wife. Amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah. Nick Wilson, JBL. Honestly, excellent shout. I completely agree with you on JBL. He was my favourite wrestler at the time, and not by a little bit, but by miles. A true villain, and there's not enough true villains in modern wrestling, but JBL was definitely one of them. MJF is obviously the modern standard as well. He's a great villain. But yeah, not enough good villains. But no, Rama says, take off a hat. Show us if your ears are permanently bent from wearing that hat for years. That's interesting you say that. My ears aren't as bent as normal because I've actually got a brand new top hat. So this stream is the first time I've ever worn it. I've even got a feather in my cap now. I got invited recently to an official YouTube event where they paid for my meal and all my drinks at the bar all night, which was very nice. It was a League of Legends live event, esports, and just outside of this venue, there was a stand specialised in, you guessed it, selling top hats. So I obviously strolled outside and I treated myself to a new top hat that day to celebrate. So yeah, this one doesn't squash my ears down as much, but looking at it now, it does squash my ears down more than I thought it would. I thought this one would sit up nicely like that, but you can't really complain. My ears could have been a lot more cauliflowered from all that wrestlers. Hello, Tipster is here. How are you doing, good man? Mr. Disaster, Damian Rajano. Hello, greetings from California. I went to California once when I drove from one side of America over to the other, then back to the other side. When I say that, my wife actually did the driving, but I rode from one side of America over to the other, then back to the other. And that's not because I can't drive. That's just because she apparently suffers from sickness. Retro Respawn with an awesome £5 donation. Thank you so much for that. Says, I reckon side-scrolling Top Hat Gaming Man made in Beats of Rage would be a hit. Potentially, it would be fun. I would love to do something like that. Like I said, I've just not got the resources. Somehow I would need to seize the means of production, I guess, to be able to pull that off. Mark Walcott says we need a Streets of Rage 5. We are actually getting a 5th Streets of Rage game, I believe probably in 2025. It's called Streets of Rage Revolution, and it's going to be fully 3D, like Fighting Force, that style game. I'm actually very scared of it because the Streets of Rage games are so good. So it's quite terrifying that they're mixing up the formula so much. Like, there's very few franchises that have a record as straight as Streets of Rage. So it is a bit scary. So Streets of Rage Revolution is coming. It will be the 5th Streets of Rage game. So fingers crossed they don't mess it up. Aluminium Falcon says, I need a new Saturday Night Slam Masters. That would be a great addition as well. I agree with you. That is long overdue. Most of the Capcom properties actually are massively neglected, even ones that were once huge. Like Mega Man. You'd think they would make more Mega Man games. That was once perhaps their biggest franchise of all. And Darkstalkers. They don't make Darkstalkers games anymore. Again, there's just so many, but they just seem obsessed with Resident Evil, Street Fighter, and Monster Hunter, and that feels like all we really get from them these days. As I was saying to everyone, one of the reasons I've decided to do this live stream is I want to build up more of a rapport with you guys, the audience. It would give me a better idea with regards to what content all of you want to see on the channel. And the only way I can pull that off is communicating more with you guys, because I've been so dead set on the documentary style of content that the relationship between us has closed off somewhat. So here is a link to my Discord. I would love it. The more of you can join, the better. And during the week, as I'm writing content, I will chat to any of you about beat 'em ups, fighting games, retro games in general, Modern gaming is just the casual environment, but obviously the more I'm talking about games, the better the ideas I will have. So join up, throw ideas you've got, or just discuss anything you like in there, essentially. Good environment, some great people over there, so it'd be brilliant if more of you can. Kendra says, I think I've seen a stream from you. Soon as I saw it, I clicked on it. Thank you, Cantrell. It is lovely to have you around. And Manana Rama says, Capcom hates its own mascot, Captain Commander, been dead for 30 years. Yes, you're correct. That is another one we have not seen much of at all, actually. I believe, wasn't he on like NES boxes like many years ago, and then he was in the arcade game, and they made a Super Nintendo port, and then he was in the Capcom Marvel vs. Capcom games. But that's all we've had from him. We've not had a new Captain Commander. I remember there was leaks around 2020 that we were getting a new Captain Commander game and a new Final Fight. That's another Capcom game that's been just like dead for a long time, and both of those are long overdue new installments, particularly Final Fight, considering we've been living in the beat 'em up renaissance period for so long. So many good beat 'em ups. Speaking of great beat 'em ups, who else is excited for the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game, which is being published by Digital Eclipse? Looks amazing, doesn't it? I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, one of the best beat 'em ups of the modern era. And from what I've seen of it, the Power Rangers game looks very, very similar. And even better, it's out in 1 month's time. So I'm really looking forward to playing through that, and I'm looking forward to providing coverage of it for you on this channel. Yeah, it should be great. What is that? Mark Goodcare has just Goodacre, I apologise, has just subscribed. Don't know if you're watching this stream or you're just watching part of my backlog. But thank you if you're here. The Red Fox says, kind Lord, I would rather a prestigious college for screenwriting. I've written a comprehensive script for both Street Fighter and Mega Man. Can I exploit your clout? Absolutely. Talk to me about it in Discord. I'm sure there are other people as well in there who would love to learn more. So yeah, talk to me in there. Honestly, not many people use it at present. I've not been engaged enough, if I'm honest, because like I said, I've been too focused on producing docs and I've not been engaged enough with the public. So go in there and I promise I'll talk to you like every day, all the time. So yeah, join me. And that goes for everyone else. So here is the Discord link again, everyone. Sign up and yes, we can become cyber friends, or is that the word? You know what I mean. Pedrosaurus, thumbs up. Big thumbs up to you. Mr. Disaster, Damien Rojano, have you heard of Famicom Fighters before? Are we talking about a fan game, or is that the one with like stick models? I'm not sure. I've seen a Famicom Fighter with like stick models, but I'm not sure I'm getting muddled up something else. Double Dragon Gaiden was pretty okay. Modern beat-em-ups are a bit too long-winded for my old hands. I really liked Double Dragon Gaiden. I found it very, very addictive. I believe it's the only game in the last couple of years where I think I got 100% of the achievements. I literally did everything there was to do in that one. Oh, Randy Pascal has just subscribed. Thank you if you're watching. Cornflakes, baby, I say, gentlemen and ladies, let's smash that like button for Mr. Lord Top of Hat. Thank you. More people hit the like button, the more likely other people will see this live stream. And yeah, that's always convenient. Sheriff, Sarur, I know you have been watching half a decade at least. There are usernames I recognise on here and am very familiar with, and yours is one of those. Maybe your first live. I've seen great stuff. Yeah, I've not done a live for a long time. There was a time about half a decade ago where I was doing live streams every single week. But the YouTube algorithm then wasn't very cohesive at all in terms of like you do a live stream and it'll be treated the same as a 10-minute upload. So if you're live for 2 hours, you can't expect to get a 50% retention in all likelihood. So it felt like it would damage the channel when you would do uploads, but it's a lot more finesse than it used to be. And I thought I procrastinated about it long enough about going live. So today I finally thought, you know what? I'm going to do a live, be fun, try and catch up with the audience, my modern audience. So yeah, nice to see you all. Eddie Madison, bonjour, sir. How are you doing today? I am very well. Thank you very much. Ray Bingo Chea, hello from Glendale, Arizona. Absolutely love Arizona. One of my favorite states I have visited. I love that part of your country. I went to the Grand Canyon, which is very, very stereotypical, I must admit. But I went over, what's the state next door? Utah. I think it's next door. It's very near, if not. And Bryce Canyon, that's amazing as well. Loved Bryce Canyon. Electroburst, Top Hat. I have a dream project fighting game series I've been planning because fighting didn't get most players aside of horror games because they're like millions of horror games. There are indeed a lot of horror games. It is a much more popular genre unfortunately. We've only had one big fighting game this year, haven't we? Tekken 8 has been the only release. And what was really hilarious is, have you heard of those like illegitimate game awards, what Jeff Keighley's doing? They're a complete joke. But I was looking over the criteria earlier today, and Tekken 8 was, of course, one of the 5 nominees for the best fighting game, and it's really the only fighting game. But what was really egregious about it, they had the audacity to put Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection as one of the main fighting games released this year. So how do you even compare that? Like seven fighting games of the past versus one new one. I just think that's ridiculous. That's like comparing apples and oranges. Yeah. Just madness. Didn't get that at all. Dujuan, so I'm not pronouncing that right. I wonder what this live stream is about. It is literally for the purpose so I can get to talk to you, the viewer, because I do not get to do it very much. I can do it as much as I want, obviously. I do not do it enough, and I need to make that effort more because I need to be thankful because you all watch my channel. So here is a Discord link. Love to get to know more of you in my Discord. The more of you sign up, the better. I will chat to you after this stream. We have got Otta Donnelly says real fighting game players are hyped for janky Hunter x Hunter, or was that Hunter cross Hunter, then Impact. Telepath says I'm baffled they put an arena fighter in it. Yes, exactly. That again is the most ridiculous list, isn't it, of 5 games? Like, why bother even having nominations? Why not just say the best fighting game goes to the only one, Tekken 8? Sorted. It's almost insulting that they've made a list of 5 games for it to even go in. Their lists are all ridiculous. Like, why is there an adventure section and there's an action adventure section? Sorry, no, an action adventure section and an action section. How are those 2 different genres? And again, the games that are in these categories can be mixed and thrown into other categories as well. Like, I think they put Final Fantasy VII in the RPG category, but they put Elden Ring in the RPG category as well. Obviously, an argument for both of those games could be that, but you could also argue that they're action-adventure games and action games. The whole thing's a ridiculous farce. And the fact that fans only get to contribute 10% of the votes to whatever wins just shows you how insulting it is. And instead, these big, nasty corporations full of bent journalists, as in who aren't following the rules correctly, get to take part in this vote, but every single game only makes up 10%. Yeah, IGN get to make up a big chunk. Kotaku get to make up a big chunk. Like, all of these, like, stupid sources and gamers themselves make up 10%. It's not right, is it? Absolutely not right. This is partly another reason why it's important to talk to you people, because without you, this content would be nothing, would it? Instant Messenger Salma has sent over 5 European euros. So thank you so much. Says at least the next Virtual Fighter is in development. Greetings from Austria, Top Hat. Greetings to you as well. I am going to be back in literally 2 minutes. I don't think, because this was so impromptu, I don't believe I've set up a leaving screen. So I'm just going to leave you here. Chat between yourselves. I'll be transparent with you. I have got asthma and it's flaring up a little bit. So I've got where I've been talking so far. So I'm just going to grab my asthma pump and I'll be straight back with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Sorry about that, everyone. Someone asked about a podcast earlier and if there was plans. See, I'd love to do one with either my friend Street here or my wife, Lady Decade, since they've both got a lot of experience working with me. But yeah, my asthma's really flaring up, guys. Sorry about that. I've got to just catch my breath a bit. I'll take this jacket off. Maybe I've got too hot. Oh, good, eh? First live stream in a while, and that happens. Okay. Yeah, apologies for that. So Mark Walker says, how is everyone doing today? I am very well. I don't know about everyone else. And Falcon says we should bring back Fighting Vipers. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Some more of the obscure ones. A new Fighters Megamix as well. That would also be awesome. Robin says, offer a cheeky line. If that counts as a cheeky line, then yes, absolutely. Game Maker 2D Fight says, I want to be Mike Tyson when I turn 60. Yeah, I would like his money as well. Tanuki Tussle says, we got one this year, Under Night 2. Preferred the chair stream. Thanks a lot, Street. DJ's Furia says, hey man, big tip. It's game day and you forgot your dice. Rolldiceapp.com. Is that some sort of plugin of something naughty? How about Fighting EX Layer? Fighting EX Layer is a decent game, and I absolutely adore Skullomania. In my opinion, he is the most underrated fighting game character of all time. And it would be amazing to see him in Street Fighter 6. He deserves respect. He is the man. Tattooed Teenage What Chalice as a fighting game. I remember there was a fake Power Rangers called Tattooed Teenagers. And it used to be on, like, if I got up before school, at something ridiculous, like 5 a.m, it'd be on. Jay Green says, Top Hat's taken a hit off Jet to keep him going. I am indeed. Sayonara, when are new Street Fighter 6 outfits coming? They don't make enough Street Fighter 6 content, do they? They really should put out a lot more. Mahmood says, hello, sir. I always loved your fighting game series. Thank you, Mahmood. I'm glad you enjoy it. Telepath, I enjoy your Power Stone videos. Was wondering if you could stream some custom games of Power Stone 2 when Capcom Fighting Collection 2 releases. Potentially, maybe. We will see. I might go back to streaming games. In fact, Street, who's in this stream now, he was with me many years ago, about half a decade ago, and we played Power Stone all night on a live stream once. And I think I rage quit in the end. I was stuck on the last boss, and it was killing me over and over and over again. And I got very, very, very angry and frustrated. Nick Angelo says, I want to know why some people hate Mugen. It is still very relevant and devs still work on it. Mark II remix, or Mortal Kombat 2 remix, sorry. Yeah, I agree with you. I was really shocked as well when I've made those Mugen videos recently, how much of a pushback there was against that. Like, normally I only deal with toxic fandoms when I behave somewhat intentionally toxic myself, such as uploading videos on Street Fighter 3 saying, no one ever played these games and this is why, or mocking the 2006 Nickelodeon designs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or mocking modern Sonic games. All of those games have audiences. So if I mock those franchises, it makes sense that some people might take it a bit too seriously and get angry with me. But Mugen was the opposite. It was something I praised and praised thoroughly. And there's been quite a few individuals who got angry with me for praising it, going, Ree! It's not a real fighting game, Ree! Fans made it, Ree! All that bollocks, which I've covered loads of fan games on the channel, absolutely loads, so many different beat-em-ups, for example, and everyone's just enjoyed that. But apparently if you cover fan-made fighting games, a lot of people have aneurysm. So yeah, let's talk about that. Comment in the chat, why do you think some people get so angry that Mugen games exist? Because it seems like a really irrational thing to be angry about. Or even more weirdly, like I said, this is a retro gaming fighting game beat 'em up history channel. It's been a retro gaming channel since day dot when I started it 8 years ago, and it's been covering fighting games and beat 'em ups for a good half a decade. Some people go, why are you talking about Mugen? Mugen games are old news. Stop. Yeah, why have you only just discovered this? Well, why would it mean I've only just discovered it if I'm making a video on it now? I didn't only just discover Double Dragon 5 last week just because I made a video on it last week. It's because I've run through lots of different historical events in my gaming vertices. It's as simple as that. So if anyone can enlighten me why Mugen has so many weird people surrounding it, I would adore to know. Banana Rama says cover or furry fighting games. Instead, I have covered quite a few furry fighting games. I did a big video. It was close to an hour long on, what's it called? What's the main one? Bloody Roar. That's a furry fighting game, isn't it? Robin says the comment saying Mugen has been around for years were funny. Exactly. It's so ridiculous. There are obviously people who've never watched the channel before. The Video Gamer Consortium says better Switch. Mahmood said, I love to see a retrospective about 2 series, Arcana Heart and Metal Blood. Not bad ideas. I do need to cover more of the fighting games. I've not done too lot. I'd like to do more from the Golden Age, from around the time Street Fighter 2 was launched, more of a copycats, because I've obviously done stuff like Fighters History, but there's so many what don't get talked about as much, which do deserve more of a spotlight, in my opinion. Justin says, they put a bunch of characters that should never be in the same place at the same time. Yeah, and that to me is what makes Mugen so wonderful. That's part of it, what makes it great, if you ask me. Mark says, nothing beats originals and the Thundercats. Falcon says, Mugen is like answering all of the character requests we asked for in fighting games, but never got from companies like Capcom, so they're great. Exactly. That's my opinion on it as well. Telepath, Mugen games are awesome. Where else will you fight Mr. Bean as Bluey? Exactly. They are magical. Or CM Punk versus a Cactar in Capcom versus the World this week. Final Fight LNS Ultimate is a fun game. I completely agree with you. Fun to play. I just don't like how enemies can catch you midair and take a lot of your energy before you hit the ground. Yeah, fan games are really perfect, but I just love that they exist at all. Steam Machines, and there's a fighting game in the Switch that has My Little Pony vibe to it. I know there's some freaks into that show. My daughter's one of them, so she would love that game. Yeah, I'm aware of that, actually. I've done videos on the past. I don't know if you've seen them, but they are plug-in really cheap games available on Steam through my Instant Gaming affiliate links, which is one of the ways I generate revenue on this channel. So I was looking up loads of obscure fighters to try and get great deals on for you guys, but sadly they didn't have one on that game at the time. But that is how I indeed learned about it. Jay Green with $5 Canadian. Thank you very much for your very kind donation. Says Top Hat, you should do a video on the early fighting games long before Street Fighter 2, and Lady Decade needs more highly illegal video game videos. I will agree with you on both of those fronts. Early gaming history is fun. The only problem I find I have with it, like stuff with the 8-bit era, the less energy there is on the screen at once, as in the less there is going on, the harder it is to keep up watch retention. So if you have an 8-bit game where there's a lot of slow movement on the game, or even worse, if you have an 8-bit Game Boy game that's in black and white, it's much harder to hold people's attention than with a modern game with a lot of energy on the screen all at once, a lot of moving imagery. So that's why I don't tend to go much past 16-bit very often, unless it's something with a lot of movement in, like a platformer. So I did Alter Beasts for the NES recently, and I did Space Harrier for the NES, because again, they're bright, colourful games with a lot going on in them. But fighting game 8-bit, a little bit trickier. But yeah, that's why I don't listen to that. And with regards to Lady Decade illegal content, we do have a couple more bootleg consoles we've never got around to covering, so maybe she will do those one day. Banana Rams, I'm making a Mugen character right now. It's a combo of Logan Paul and Mike Tyson, and their moveset is just them passionately, you've written kissing, but I'm going to say kithing. So yes, well done. Mike Tyson does love a good kith. Aaron Howard says, you are a funkin' legend, brother. Thanks for the years of content, lad. If you've been watching for years, thank you very, very, very much. You guys are my bread and butter, literally. So thank you for that. What have we got next? Lizus says, this is why people put Family Guy clips over Subway Surfer gameplay. People's attention spans are effed. They are. People's attention spans are really, really effed. So yeah, the newer a game is, the easier it is to get retention on it, generally. That's what I found. And black and white games, Game Boy, now that is tough. Telepath says, WWE or AEW need to sign you to promote their games. I would love to work for one of the big promotions, but then again, who wouldn't? Aluminium Falcon, who's said a lot here, so thanks for that, says, who remembers Weight of the Exploding Fist? Comment below, guys. Breechan, I'm so happy to talk to you. I often compliment you and your wife, but I'm careful to not get inappropriate with your very attractive wife. She is awesome as you are. Thank you for everything. Thank you very much for your very kind words, and I have absolutely no problem whatsoever with you guys who compliment my wife. All you are doing is reinforcing that I have good taste. So thank you for that, everyone. Game Maker 2D Fighter says, I'm making a Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora for Mugen now, so good luck with that. Alon Mizari says, you should cover Best of the Best, the arcade game. There's potential for that. Sayonara says, any fun streaming plans for New Year's night? Not as of yet. I'm literally taking this as it comes. So this is the first stream I've done in a very, very long time. Seeing how I feel about it. The reason why I've never got into streaming to the same degree a lot of other people do is because I feel the main benefit from becoming a professional YouTuber is the freedom to not be restricted to working on a schedule. And if you're live streaming, most of the time, you do have to stick to a schedule to get the audience coming back. And for me, like, what is the point of being self-employed to be able to choose my own hours, to only give up choosing my own hours? That is the tough part of it. So whilst I do want to carry on doing streams here and there, I think impromptu will always be the way forward for me because I don't want to be locked into a schedule. Like I said, that goes against everything I've worked hard for all of these years. But I do want to get to know more of you better. The Red Fox with $5 dues. Thank you so much for your very, very kind donation. I love money, and by proxy, I love you. But I love you anyway for even being here, so thank you for that. They said, we all need to come together as a community to avoid another terrible live-action Street Fighter film. Let's all talk about this. It's Paramount. Did Paramount make it? I'm joking. But no, in all seriousness, I don't mind that. I quite like the film. For you, it might have been one of the worst films ever, but for me, it was Tuesday. And for that, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's great to be talking to all of you. I'm going to give you out a link to my personal Discord. Here, we will be able to discuss fighting games, beat 'em up, gaming in general, or just general chit-chat with each other throughout the week. You can talk to me as I'm working on scripts. And who knows, you might be able to throw me some great ideas since you're also passionate about these topics. And if you've got questions about and you run YouTube channels yourself, I can also help you with that too. I am a qualified school teacher, guys. Yeah, I love to help out when I can. So there is a link to my Discord. The more of you join, the better. So yeah, let's have a look actually. Let's see who's joined since I've started this stream. I don't know if you're all going to be here. Oh, lots of you. Is it letting me see the names though? It's not letting me. I've only got the first letter of your names. No, lots of you have joined though. So thank you everyone who's joined. Yeah, there's lots of you here. I can see the latest. We've got Catatonia. How you doing, Catatonia? Been a while. Sayonara's come over. Nick Flex. Game Maker 2D Fighters. 242247. Jaced Geek. And there's someone whose name begins with a V. I think it's the people who've got really long usernames. The way I've got this set up, I cannot see. Oh, we got loads of you. Oh, there's someone. Zachariah Wildwood. I can see your full name as well. Hello, Zachariah. Welcome to my Discord. But yeah, we have quite a few of you. I'd love it. More of you. Keep hopping over and then jump in the general chat. And after this stream, throughout the week, we will be able to discuss lots about fighting games in general. I'm not sure. Hot. Thank you, Sayonara. The only thing is with this Discord, I'm not sure whether you can you, any of you guys who are in my Discord right now, can you try typing in the general chat for me? I don't know whether you have to go to introduce yourself and then someone has to verify you, or you can go straight in the general chat. So if someone now can type in general chat, that'd be very much appreciated. Yes, Wayne, all right. I am indeed a school teacher. You got to love knowledge. Wayne, all right. What do you want to teach? Did you want to teach? Or are you talking to someone else? What do I teach? I was a primary school teacher. All year groups. And I've taught a bit of secondary as well. I've actually taught from nursery, so 3 years old, all the way up to 16-year-old, every single year group I've taught. Knuckles Sam was joining us on Blue Sky. I will not be. I do not believe so. I don't like social media very much anymore. I feel like all people use it for, not everyone, but a lot of people just use it to shout abuse at each other. So that's why it's a waste of time. Like, I don't really want to be on a platform where I can expose myself to be abused by losers. So why bother when you can just be on YouTube and you can control who you're interacting with? Like, people who come to your YouTube channel come to you because they like what you're doing. They like the content you're putting out. On platforms like X, Threads, Blue Sky, any of those platforms, you're literally typing stuff into an ether. And a good 90% of what you're putting out there isn't going towards the audience who would want to read it. Those websites are designed for conflict and they are designed for people to argue. So for me, they're a waste of time. Like, why should I negatively engage with people who don't want to engage with me, or people who want to engage with me but for the wrong reasons? I think it's a complete waste of time personally. But yeah, something like this, great. Roman Antonio Dijuan Bennett says Street Fighter Resurrection and Assassin's Fist are the best live action Street Fighter films. We need a Street Fighter 3 anime and a Street Fighter 6 anime done in the Street Fighter 2 TAM style. I think they are making a new Street Fighter film at present, aren't they? I have no idea how it's going to come out, but they're in the process of making a new Street Fighter film. But Narama says Street Fighter 4 was the best Street Fighter anime, honestly. They done a, what's it called? An OVA, whatever that stands for, on Street Fighter 4, I think. I can't remember what OVA stands for. Someone will be able to refresh me. Christian Gutierrez says, what are the blue boxes for and what system? Those are Dreamcast games, European Dreamcast games. That's what Dreamcast games look like in Europe. Oh, and just someone's gone in, people have gone to general chat thing for me. Brilliant. So those who have gone into the general chat of my Discord, I don't know how many of you have just popped in. Here's a link to my Discord, which I will be mentioning throughout the evening. Join up on my Discord and we can chat a week. You can share your ideas with stuff you want to see on this channel, and I will get to know you on a more personal basis, which would be nice. It's much better knowing more about who watches your channel. Very useful. And it's a lot of fun as well, getting to talk with people about the things I love and the stuff you potentially love. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching niche nonsense like what I make. Kiriko Hop says, we could use a Tekken live action film done with love and not what was made. I used to avoid the live action movies based on video games as much as I could around the time Tekken the movie came out. My wife watched it. I remember my wife watching it, but I just refused. I'm like, no, I'm not watching any of this tripe. It's utterly ridiculous. Like, she used to watch the Resident Evil films as well and all that. She used to watch all of them, but I wouldn't. No video game movies. I think now they're all right from what I know. Like, I took my children to see the Mario Brothers movie and I thought that was great. But back then, most of them were awful. Although I've got a soft spot for some of them. The Street Fighter 2 one, I quite like. I quite like the original Mario Bros. Film. I like both of them, but for the complete wrong reasons. XX Keg King has just subscribed. Awesome. Don't know if you're in the live stream. I imagine you're probably watching long form, but I will say hello anyway, just in case this is where you're indulging the content from. Steam Machine says, a Tekken anime goes for a pretty penny in CEX these days. I wasn't even fully aware there was a Tekken anime. PS3 TNA 157 says, thoughts on the old Mortal Kombat movies. I've not seen a Mortal Kombat movie since the first one first came out. And I actually remember enjoying it as a child, but I have no idea what it's like to watch as an adult. But I did enjoy it the first time I saw it. I'll give you that. Dr. Rockland says, what's your take on the Sony PSN controversy? What is the latest Sony PSN controversy? Let me know. I do love a bit of outrage, if you're familiar with my work. Lisa says, I like the Dead or Alive movie in a so bad it's fun way. Yeah, they're the best films sometimes. Jamie Singleton, there was a Tekken Bloodline. I think, oh, Tony Needus with $10. Oh, thank you so much, Tony. You have no idea how much I love money. Thank you so much. Says, love you, Lady Decade. Also, you should do live once a month. Just a thought. Yeah, once a month would be much more manageable. I agree. I would like to do these at least once a month. Maybe more. We'll see how this goes. Koi-Fish Gaming says, the first Mortal Kombat movie is the only one that matters. Good, because that's the only one I've seen. Sharon says, I have a Tekken anime on tape. It's solid. Yeah, I think a lot of the animated stuff is better. I've seen the Street Fighter 2 anime, the movie, the animated movie. Foot Slap Black says, yeah, the new Mario Bros. Movie was really well done. It was. I thought it was excellent. Ramon Antonio de Juan Bennett says, you should cover Fist of the North Star, Retsuden arcade fighting game, and the Blaze Blue games next. Those games are awesome. Blaze Blue might be a good shout, actually. They're quite popular, aren't they? Kaneko says, I still enjoy the first Mortal Kombat live action movie to this day. I think it aged well. Mortal Kombat's second live action movie, it's just funny, but it was pretty subpar even back then, but it's super quotable. Yeah, a lot of those movies are, aren't they? That's, some of the worst movies have the best quotes, like, who here loves the Star Wars prequels for that very reason? I love the Star Wars prequels because they are the most quotable movies I've ever seen. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? I watch your career with great interest. Initial D says, Top Hat Gaming Man, hello to you. Ape Man Monkey says, still any plans on travelling and doing handhelds around the world? Oh, you make me sad saying that, Ape Man Monkey. I used to love that. For those who have been here a really, really, really long time, and I'm talking 4 years ago and longer ago than that, that one of the first things I did on note on this channel was make a series called Handhelds Around the World. In 2016, I remortgaged my house when I turned 30 years old, and I travelled the globe for a year, which gave me an opportunity to work on this channel a lot when it was still just a hobby, and Handhelds Around the World was part of that. So as I was going around the world, I was making videos on different handhelds and different games from country to country, and I managed to produce something quite unique. But the kibosh got put on it essentially when the 2020 pandemic came around, and I was out filming in Hungary, and then I basically was told, right, you've got to go home now, otherwise you won't be getting home. So I had to fly back to England in 2020, and then it basically become making the content less and less. And now I've got 2 children. I've got a 6-year-old, and I've got my youngest is about to turn 4 years old. So even the youngest is going into compulsory education soon. And under British law now, you're not allowed to take your children out of education. You're not allowed to go on holiday. So the only time we can go abroad is during the school holidays. And during the school holidays, there is a huge premium on flight tickets. So it's quite restrictive. We can only really afford to go on holiday once per year, which in itself is obviously, I know, an absolutely huge privilege. But before they was born, where you get like budget airlines and all stuff like that, during times when no one wanted to go on holiday, I could like buzz off to Eastern Europe, get on the plane for like 50 quid, get like a month's rent for like 300 euros, and then I'd be sorted. Like, it was so good back then. And I think everything's gone up generally around the world since 2020 anyway. The world is just a lot more expensive than it used to be. And again, America, I was always back and forwards to America when I was younger. I proposed to my wife in America, went on honeymoon there in 2011. But you might know this, you might not, but back in 2007, I believe the average person living in the UK had more disposable income than the average person living in the United States. But the UK economy has gone so downhill between then and now that now the average American is 57% more well off than the average Brit. That is the dire straits this country's gone in, and America have made a lot of very solid economic decisions over the last 15 years. So if you're living in America, very lucky people, great, strong economy. I am very jealous of how your country has done in the last few years. So let's give a big clap to America. Well done on being the richest country in the world. Yeah. But there's some pluses to that. Most of my audience is American, which means I get American advertising revenue. So yeah, there's some benefits to that. So yeah, well done, America. God bless you, as they say. Falcon says, I've got 6 stepkids to look after. And 8man says, 6 years old. I remember when she announced pregnancy. I know, it's sad, isn't it? Time flows faster and faster the older we all get. Yeah, he's 6 now, the oldest. Brightchan says, you and your family should relocate to America and we'd love to have you. Kansas City is a great place to live, safe and inexpensive. There is one way I could get into America quite easily, I believe, and that is because I'm a qualified school teacher with enough experience that I could probably call up some agencies and they could probably deploy me in an American school, but I'll probably get put in like a rough part of the country where they need teachers. So I would have that to contend with. But then I would be locked back into working a traditional job. And I'm not sure under that sort of visa whether I would be entitled to be able to make YouTube content over there or whether I'd be restricted to just teaching. But yeah, I would love to live in America. Your tax system is gorgeous as well. It's so wonderful. Like even in your states where they charge the most tax, like I believe, isn't California something like 7% VAT or something like that? But you've got other places like Delaware where it's 0%. Do you know how much VAT is over here? I think it's 20%. And when in a lot of other European countries, it goes all the way up to 27%. So we get robbed by the taxes here. We really should have overthrown the government over here back in the day. You lot did the right thing when you said, no, we're not paying all these ridiculous taxes. For some reason, us morons over here have continued to pay the crazy taxes. It's disgusting, the amount of tax I have to pay. I hate it. I hate the tax man, and I hate that I have to give him all my money. I have to pay a TV licence. Like, how ridiculous is that? The TV licence goes to funding the BBC, who don't even publish non-biased content. So I'm funding these news networks, which I have to pay for, and I'm obliged to pay for the BBC to get a TV licence to watch any live television, but it's only the BBC who gets any of that money. But again, obviously, it's not always, what's the word? The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and I'm sure you've got your fair share of issues where you live in your countries as well. So there's that, yeah. Sorry about all the ranting, but yeah, the sky's always grey here as well. That's another really annoying thing in the UK. We're all miserable and angry all the time, like I am now, because all we ever do is look up and go, oh, look at the weather today. It's grim and cloudy, horrible. So grey, so grey here. I always think about immigrating to one of the warmer European countries, but those like rip you off more in tax than this one. So that's the thing, it's a bit of a trade-off. You're going to have the sun, but you've got to pay even more in tax. Akuma Production Music Crew says, any thoughts on the Game Awards this year? We were talking about that earlier in the night, like how ridiculous they are. For example, we were laughing that they've gone to the effort of putting the best fighting game category, even though Tekken 8 was the only significant fighting game that's come out this year. So they've done some ridiculous things, like put Dragon Ball Sparking Zero in there, which is an arena fighter, and they've put the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which is obviously a collection of 7 fighting games from years ago. Like, how do you compare that with those other two as the best fighting game? Like, surely Marvel vs. Capcom Collection would be the best fighting games, plural. How can you give it the best fighting game award? It's 7 of them. Like, the whole thing is nonsense. It is ridiculous. Cantrell says, sunshine tax. Yeah, that's why I'd love to live in Florida, because they get the sunshine and little to no tax. Like, what a life. Sunshine and no tax. What a place to live that must be. I Am Zatcher says, the weather seems great in the UK. Moody grey weather is nice in my opinion. It's all right, but when it's cold and grey simultaneously, like it's been this week, I hate it. I can't stand it when it's like that. I think that's one of the reasons I did this stream, actually. I needed something to, like, pick me up a little bit because the weather has been so dreadful. Cantrell says, Jeff has never stopped being a joke. Now he's a stooge. Yes, Keely. Lady Decade, my wife, might do a video on the Gaming Awards on her channel on Wednesday. So if some of you aren't already subscribed to her, make sure you subscribe to Lady Decade, and there'll be lots of hot takes in that, I would imagine. Nick Angelo says, I thought it was an energy drink called Sparkling Zero, as in calories. Yeah, I thought it was Sparkling Zero for a while, but it's not. It's Sparking Zero. Any idea what that means, anyone? Sparking Zero seems like such an odd name for a fighting game. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like, what do they mean by sparking? We say in the UK, I'll spark you out when you punch someone. Is that what it means? Like sparking someone out? But what's the context? Mustafa says, please, could you do the history of Guardian Heroes on the Saturn? I did that years ago. So you can find, if you type it in Top Hat Game Man Guardian Heroes, you will be able to find one. But I will warn you, it's very dated, one of my earlier videos. So you're probably right. I should probably cover that again at some point. That is going through the effort of planning for an end. Power Rangers say, thanks, bud, for supporting USA. Ninja Gaiden is a great action game ever created. After Tomonobu Itagaki was let go, that game suffered. Hayashi and the team pandered to Shitendo, but PS. I've not given Ninja Gaiden enough time. Do you think I should change that? Matt Smith says, no snow in Florida too. You say that. I remember going over there. I think it was 2015 was the last time I went to Florida. And I went there early November. Again, bright sun, really warm, really, really nice. But there's all these photos of me everywhere face palming like this. Because even though it's boiling hot and it's November, no joke, loads of places I went, like this town called Celebration off Route 192, and a lot of the theme parks, they had artificial snow everywhere. And Christmas trees erected, covered in snow. Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. You've got this boiling hot weather and you've got all this fake snow everywhere. Like, Like, surely it's hot all the time in Florida. Why would you want to be surrounded by fake snow? It's like, it was really creepy for me. Like, it's boiling hot weather and they put fake snow everywhere. And here what was even more ridiculous. We went to one of the water parks that trip. And my wife, Lady Decade, she forgot to buy any swimsuits. I forgot or we didn't know we was going to go to water parks until we got there. But we went round some of the shops and she had real trouble finding swimsuits. For some reason, even though it was boiling outside, all the big retail chains were just stocking like coats and woolly hats and all stuff like that. And we asked them, what's going on? It's boiling outside. Why are you selling this stuff? Why can't I get a swimsuit? And their justification is that they sell the same stock in every shop throughout America at the same time, which to me, as a Brit, is so insane and doesn't make any sense. Like, if you've got a country with all these different climates, surely you need different stock to be appropriate to those climates. So yeah, yes, you shouldn't have snow in Florida, and you're correct, but I was unfortunately exposed to a lot of it last time I was out there. And again, can anyone explain to me why there was all the fake snow in Florida around Christmas time? So weird. Gua Death just subscribed, so thank you for that. Like, my brother used to live in Australia, and he used to be over Christmas, and they'd go to the beach at Christmas to have barbecues and stuff like that. But for some reason, it's all snow-themed in Florida. Like I said, really creepy, really, really weird. Braychen says, if you taught in America, Johnson County Community College would allow you to do adjunct so you could continue your YouTube channel. It'd be so great. I don't know anything about what you're talking about, Bree-chan, but I would adore it if you joined my Discord. Here's the link. If you can send me a DM on there, I'd really appreciate learning more, because I've always thought about going to America because I feel American values line up much better with a lot of my beliefs than a lot of British values. So yeah, if I can find a way into America, there's potential for that. So yeah, thank you. Eddie Lex says, in Dragon Ball, when they go beyond the Super Saiyan, they spark. Okay, so it means a higher level of power. Fair enough. I've watched every episode, though, for the original all the way through to Super, and I don't recall that reference. I can understand what you're saying visually, but I've never heard them refer to it, unless it's something they only do in Japanese. Or I'm just inattentive. Let me know. Abraham says, best way to look up her gaming channel. Just type in Lady Decade, and you will find her gaming channel. Power says, PS, Xbox did not get it under Shitendo regime, then later Rage at Edge. DLC that fixed major decisions that killed the game equals before No Gore, Now Gore was created. The original Gaiden 3 fail. Again, it's one of those series, isn't it? It's inconsistent in quality, Ninja Gaiden, which is why I've not delved into it particularly. Like Double Dragon, for the same reason, took me years to get my head around. Like, which Double Dragon game should I play? There's so many of them. That'd probably be the best way I can get around Ninja Gaiden as well, like literally making deep dives on all of them so I can work out what's good, what's not. Kenaka says, Top Hat posted on your Discord general how to reveal usernames while you're streaming. It's pretty straightforward. It's limited to showing one letter for each user because of the streamer mode. Ah, okay. Thank you. There's a setting under streamer mode to turn off the username display limitation. There's a setting under streamer mode to turn... Let me have a look at that. I'll see what I can do, because then I can say hello to everyone who's joined the Discord so far. Where is this streamer mode? Ah, okay. Is it in user settings, is it? Streamer mode enabled, escape. Okay, see if that worked. Or did I just... Streamer mode enabled. Enable streamer mode. So if I unenable streamer mode, I'll be able to see, will I? Ah, I think you're right. Well done. Well done. So I'll say hello to everyone who signed up to my Discord so far. And here is another link to my Discord. So if you've not signed up yet, here's your chance. We can begin talking with each other all the time, just like now, but a lot more informally, obviously. And I imagine in Discord, there'll only be a couple of us talking at a time. So it'd be much more personal and we can get to know each other better. So here we go. Hello, Nerd for Words, Cloudy Day 80, Golden Stratty, Ektran, Scotty B 1990, Jaced Geek, Wilman 85, 242247, Game Maker 2D Fighters, Nick Flex, Catatonia, Sayonara, Village Smalls, Lumion Falcon, Zachariah Wildwood, Vijis Smalls, I think I said that twice, Super Mahmood, Zachariah Woodward, I've said your name twice as well, Kaniko, who else have we got? Last Night's Regret, Vengeance, Mr. Nanarama, Foot Slap Black, Jaded, Gloomed Grove, Brawhammer, Cornflakes, and Gua Death. Thank you to everyone who has joined my Discord so far. As more of you join throughout the evening, I will continue saying hello to you as well. But again, I'm looking forward to carrying on into, what's the word? So my words have just fumbled. Communicating with you all via the chat on YouTube. So we've got, Mahmood says, isn't Rage of the Dragons a Mexican fighting game? I believe you are correct. I covered that game once a few years ago. The Red Fox, who is Ryu's mother? I do not believe we know who Ryu's mother is. Don't think that's ever been covered in the lore. Oh, they know the answer, apparently. Let's see what you got to say. Goki is not Ryu's father? Mark says, do you still hang out with Lion Secret? I've not been able to watch his streams in a while. No, he left the Discord a while back. Bananarama said he spilled soda on his computer. RIP Top Hat stream. Have I? I hope I haven't spilled any soda. Or fizzy drinks, as we call it in the United Kingdom. Delicious. I love Pepsi Max. I personally believe it to be an absolutely wonderful elixir. They are not sponsoring the stream, by the way. I just really, really enjoy it. So refreshing. Will you announce new videos via Discord? I talk about videos in advance on Discord sometimes, and there is a notification that lets you know whenever I upload a video, so it is another way of being notified if you've never ticked the notification bell on YouTube. Kanika says, don't need to disable the whole streamer mode, just for hide personal information setting under streamer mode, Top Hat Gaming Matt. I don't know what I'm doing. Bananarama says, it's back. Kendra Evans says, the lore varies. The animations have gone back and forth. I think the Alpha anime has had his mother in, but she wasn't important. Street Fighter 2 is an interesting one. In some of the endings, Chun-Li has a husband. She has a husband, you know. Did you know that fact? Chun-Li has a husband in Street Fighter 2. He's not made appearances in future games for some reason, has he? And she's got an adopted daughter now, isn't she? Even though she's never referred to as a single mum. In fact, I don't believe her adopted daughter even calls her mum in the games, which is also strange. In Assassin's Fist, it's plausible that Sayaka could be his mother, as she had affection for both Goki and Goken. She is Gosetsu's niece. Love Pepsi Max, but aspartame gives me migraines. It's a love-hate thing. See, sadly, Mark, I'm the opposite. If I am not having Pepsi Max or Coca-Cola, I'm so addicted, I suffer from migraines. Like, I get really bad withdrawal symptoms, so bad I actually get bedbound. I know it's not good. It's an awful addiction to have, but then again, I could be addicted to much worse things. Like, there are worse addictions than Coke. Let's be honest, there's much worse addictions than Coke. Just Street, you should probably point out the superiority of British drinks and corn soup. You are correct, Street is right. And I have been to America enough times to know this. Most British fizzy drinks are superior to American soda. And the reason for that is American soda have corn syrup. And corn syrup is ghastly, in my opinion. I prefer to have sugar in my fizzy drinks. This has nothing to say, this is just a Spartan. But generally, a Coca-Cola in the UK is superior to Coca-Cola in the United States. But then again, we have a sugar tax in the UK. And a lot of guidelines regarding sugar. So there is less sugar in Coca-Cola now compared to what they used to be. So if I go over to Greece, for example, where there's less regulation on sugar, their Coca-Cola's delicious. Honestly, Greek Coca-Cola. If you've not tried it, I suggest you do. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's weird how different Coca-Cola is from one nation to the next. Like in the UK, I actually prefer Pepsi Max to Coca-Cola. But in Greece, I massively prefer Coca-Cola to Pepsi Max. Bananarama says Asmongold lives off of Dr. Pepper. He's fine. Yeah, but let's be honest, how long is he going to be fine? Lisa says depends on the Coke. Yes, indeed, it does depend on the Coke. Super Dayu has just subscribed. I imagine they are watching one of my long form videos, but I will say thank you just in case they are here. But Night Richard said corn syrup is the reason I don't drink soda. Yes, we don't have it in the UK, fortunately. Although I love American Mountain Dew, I'll give you your due for that. I do love your Mountain Dew. Although it does send me asleep very quickly whenever I have it. Like, knocks me out, but it is delicious. And it does make me very fat on my visits. Like whenever I visit the States, even if just for a few weeks, I do put on a lot of pounds because they give you such ridiculously huge portions and everything is so sugary and fatty. But I enjoy the gluttony when I'm there. I'll be honest, I do. But I guess if I lived there full time, I'd live differently, as I guess probably a lot of you guys do. But it's very novel for a visitor, all the sugar everywhere, or corn syrup, more specifically. Mexican soda is great too, no corn syrup. I've heard that, Mark. Someone else said that to me. I believe it was actually Street, who's also here in the chat, told me about Mexican soda. Arcade says, hi, Top Game Man from Spain. I've enjoyed your videos on most of the games of my teenage years. Double Dragon, Sunset Riders, Punisher. I'm only missing a couple like Knights of the Round. I have never covered Knights of the Round as of yet. Nicangelo said they poison us here. Yeah, I heard that as well. I heard they put chemicals in the water that turned the freaking frogs gay. So let me know whether you believe that to be the case. Mexican Coke is the best. I've heard that before as well. I've heard a lot about Mexican Coke being the best. Eddie Lex says, in the States, the best Coca-Cola comes from Mexico. C. Sporta says, Iron Brew for the win. You're right. I did used to like Iron Brew. When I was a kid, there was a period where, so we're talking about the 1990s here, Coca-Cola or Pepsi Max, you go to a corner shop and it would be 50p for a can of Coca-Cola at the time, which is, at the time of the exchange rate, I believe that was $1. So it was $1 for a can of Coca-Cola or Pepsi Max. But for a long time, they had Iron Brew at 19 pence. So that's about 40 cents. So I got really addicted. I love this Iron Brew. Every time I go to a shop, I just buy loads of Iron Brew. But it turned the inside of my mouth orange. So I thought, better not drink it as much as I have been anymore. Because, yeah, it literally turned my insides orange. So, yeah, love Iron Brew, but it does turn you orange. I will warn you that from experience. Sam says, come to the USA, enjoy the high fructose corn syrup in everything. Banana Rama said, coffee's better than everything, just make it yourself. Yeah, you're probably correct, to be fair. It is great. I'm just a bit naughty, but who isn't naughty, let's be honest. Clitorim says, I'm from Trinidad and being subbed to Lady Decade. Sweet hat, thank you very much. And I've got a feather in my cap as well. There we go. Nick says, I don't drink the tap real sugar. Sugar Pepsi is available as a speciality. It says real sugar on the can, which seems weird to me. Yeah, that is strange. The Red Fox says, at the time Goken and Goki, we're talking about Street Fighter again, were training. They were probably war orphans. Saying niece doesn't mean a lot, even seen -0. I believe there are a lot of discrepancies in Street Fighter lore, depending on the source, and stuff often gets retconned and retold, blah, blah, blah. So there's never necessarily the specifics on a lot of it because they change it up too much. Mark says Mexican Coke is pure cane sugar, no corn syrup. This is why Mexican Coke is the best. Do you know what I need to do, don't I? If this Mexican Coke is as great as all of you claim it is, I need to set up at some point a PO box so that you people can start sending me loads and loads of Mexican Coke so I can sample the Mexican Coke and see what the quality is like compared to British Coke. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Yes, I'd be very grateful of that. Yes, I am naughty, indeed. Telepath says, have you tried Mexican food? Our tacos are the best. Believe it or not, Telepath, Mexican food is very popular in the UK. You don't ever get Mexicans. I've never met a Mexican in this country in my entire life, but you do get a lot of Mexican foods. Like I can go to Tesco, a big shopping centre, or what do you call them? Supermarket? No, I can't remember what you call them. Same as Walmart. You've got a word for it. I can't remember what you say. But yeah, I've got the equivalent of a Walmart 2 doors from this house. So I can walk into Walmart and Tesco and I can buy loads of Mexican food. But I have been to like Mexican restaurants and stuff in, what state? What bloody state? The one where Vegas is. Nevada. That's it. And New Mexico. Funnily enough, I've never been to Mexico, but I've eaten Mexican food in America. Does that count? And there's a lot of British Mexican food, as strange as that probably sounds to you. Like you can buy Mexican ready meal kits. So I can get a box and it's got the tacos in the box. It's got powder, and all like sour cream, salsa. So you buy all the ingredients in one box and then you buy the chicken. I can't eat chicken, I'm allergic to it, so I substitute it for pork. But yeah, you can make your own tacos, or as Vince McMahon refers to tacos. I don't even know but Vince McMahon calls them steak wraps, which I think is a hilarious way, and that's how I refer to them a lot of the time, because for comic effect, it's funnier to call them steak wraps, because who calls them steak wraps? Steak wraps, I love that. So, Just Street says apparently PO boxes are a tax nightmare. As I was saying to people in this stream, though, everything is a tax nightmare in this country. They want to tax you on everything. Everything is a tax nightmare. So why am I surprised? Creepy Colour says, as a Street Fighter fan, are you aware of the Drade Toy Street Fighter figures? It's what actually got me into the lore in your videos. No, tell me more. Banana Rama says they called them Barry Itos. It's disturbing. And June of Wrath, yes, indeed, this is another live stream. As the host of Catchphrase would say, I can't remember his name. He was Irish, and he would say, "Welcome along." And yes, I can do Irish accents, like inoffensively, because I actually have an Irish passport. Don't know if any of you know that, but I have a British passport and an Irish passport because I am part Irish. Yes, so yes, I'm dual national. Here is a link to my Discord. Love to get to know more of you over there. Join my personal Discord. Over there during the week, we can discuss ideas for content. You can put your ideas forward and let me know what you want to see on the channel, or get to know each other generally throughout the week. It's a fun Discord. There's a great little group of people in there who are very engaged at times. But yeah, if some of the rest of you join in, that'd be great. Yeah, Vince McMahon steak wraps, chili and everything. Will they ever be jealous of Singapore? They have KFC chicken skin snacks. You know what? Before I was allergic to chicken, when I was in Thailand back in 2017, their KFC was absolutely amazing. You could have like Kentucky Fried Chicken in rice covered in Thai green sauce, and it was so amazing and so addictive. Like, Thai KFC is the best KFC I've ever had. Love Thai KFC. And did you know even British KFC and American KFC is completely different as well? Completely different. Like, you have mashed potato, don't you, with yours, and these things called biscuits, which are actually just salty scones. And we don't have any of that at KFC. We just have chicken, the fried chicken, and chips, or what you refer to as French fries. That's it. French fries and fried chicken. That's our KFC. So yeah, it's really interesting, KFC, because wherever you go in the world, they actually serve completely different food, like really different food. You always get the fried chicken, but they always present the fried chicken completely differently. It's really sad. I'm allergic to chicken now. I miss chicken. It's a very diverse, dynamic piece of meat, isn't it? You can do a lot with chicken, and I can't eat it anymore. But I basically found that I'm allergic to poultry now, and I'm allergic to fish. So the rule is I can only tend to eat meat if it's got 4 legs or more. So cows, fine. Pigs, fine. Sheep, fine. Octopus, lobsters, crabs, all fine. But no chicken, no turkey, no duck, no fish, which makes me a sad man. But at least I can enjoy the 4-legged meaty treats, which is something. Yeah, it makes me very sad. I do miss chicken. Every day I mourn for the days I used to eat lots of chicken. Yeah, those were the days. And baked beans. What sort of fucking Brit is allergic to baked beans? Do you know how much I mourn not being able to eat baked beans? Like, what tastier delicacy is there than a tin of baked beans? And I can't bloody eat them. Some sort of protein allergy, obviously. It is awful. Mahmoud said tacos in France, for example, are not your typical tacos. It's a different thing. Yeah, speaking of differences between international cuisine in different places, Indian food in the UK is amazing. I love Indian restaurants here, but every Indian restaurant I went to in America wasn't a fan. It prepared so differently. And one Indian restaurant I went to in Florida, it was so ridiculous. Like, we had our meal, and tell me, is this a normal thing in Indian restaurants in America? I've not been to that many, but I had my meal, and rather than take my plates away at the end of the meal and carefully pick up all the cutlery like you'd expect from a restaurant, the lady just took the tablecloth with all the plates and just wrapped it up like a sack and just walked off. like that. She got all the cutlery in that and just ripped off the tablecloth of it all in. I was horrified. Like how undignified is that? Like, I've never seen anything like it. Is that a common thing? I've not seen it in the UK in Indian restaurants. Indian restaurants in India will give you the squits. I have heard that. Dave Boswell. Heinz is your favourite brand of baked beans. I'm not fussed about the brand, actually. I think most Heinz stuff is generally a bit of a rip-off. Like, they overcharge, and I don't think there's much difference in quality behind Heinz beans than any other baked beans. So no, if I could eat baked beans, I'd probably just go for like non-branded. And when I say non-branded, just Tesco's own baked beans or Lidl or Aldi's own baked beans, that sort of thing. Because there is a huge premium on Heinz, and I can't see any justification for it. Maybe there's more sugar. Maybe it's a sugar tax. No, it's probably just branding. Jay Green, thank you for your 10 Canadian dollars. Top Hat. During the 80s, Britain had a major gang rivalry that was legendary. So, if you were around then, would you be Team Specky or Team Amstrad? And don't be a posh bougie and say BBC Micro. No, BBC Micro is where for people who speak with genuine pronunciation, genuine received pronunciation. I don't. This is an accent for the character. I grew up as a Cockney in southeast London, and Alan Sugar is a fellow Cockney. So I grew up with an Amstrad, but it wasn't my Amstrad. It was a hand-me-down from my uncle, who was 12 years older than me, who gave me his old Amstrad when I was about 3 or 4 years old. So I was an Amstrad CPC owner. That was my first ever gaming platform, was the good old Amstrad CPC. Yes, yeah, no BBC Micros in my household. No Amigas, nothing posh like that. Just budget, a nice budget, all in one system. Branston Baked Beans, yeah, that was a good brand. Not as watery sauce as Heinz. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Heinz anything, really. Jason Cairn says, any Super Nintendo homebrew content I'm going to make? I wanted to cover a game. It's not technically a Super Nintendo game. I think it's more of an open bore. I'm not sure actually if it's an open bore or it's made in an independent engine completely. But recently, someone I've spoken to in the past has made a fan game called Ultimate Double Dragon, which is like a souped up version of Super Double Dragon, but full of Killer Instinct moves and loads of new features. So I'd like to do a video on that down the line. Wee Biddy Woo says C64 baby. That was one of the budget systems. Lots of people from the working class had C64s and Spectrums and Amstrads. They were the working class systems. So yeah, if someone tells you they grew up with an Amiga, they grew up in a very privileged household, in my opinion. So yeah, think about that. Anyone YouTuber you watch say, "Oh, my first computer when I was young was an Amiga." They were a posh twat. I can tell you that now. They would have been a posh twat if that was their first system, like a genuinely posh twat, not a satirical posh twat like myself. Dave Boswell, we all had BBCs in our schools and showed my kids pod that very evening. Yes, they were the school system, wasn't they? With that deal struck between Acorn, I believe. Acorn Archimedes is the best. Samson, do you watch American sports? I watch the WWE, if you classify that as a sport. At times I'll watch American boxing, but no, I won't watch any sports what are designed for the American audience, if that makes sense. So you'll never catch me watching something like basketball, which is girly netball, or American football, which is girly rugby, or baseball, which is girly cricket, or anything like that, really. Or ice hockey, which is hockey for fairies. But yeah, they're just all sports we have over here, but with like a load of insane capitalism thrown on top. They're not for me. Like, rugby shouldn't be played with helmets. That takes the fun out of it, surely. But I've never played it. I don't know. I'm just being very ignorant and openly. Honestly, I'm winding you up. Did you ever watch Ninja Warrior? Did I watch Ninja Warrior? I was actually asked to go on Ninja Warrior, and I'm not joking, by the way. You might know, you might not know. I was an indie wrestler for 10 years, and I did the same gimmick, doing wrestling around the British circuit, what I'm doing right now. And they asked me to come on it in gimmick, and I believe I missed the email. It's like, I'm really crap with my email, and I picked it up about 2 weeks too late. But yeah, yes, I was a fan of Ninja Warrior, and I was asked to go on it, but I didn't do it. But I believe my friend did, Will Ospreay, fellow wrestler. I think he went on Ninja Warrior. He's in AEW now. So yeah, shout me out if you're familiar with his work. He had his first match ever in my parents' back garden. There's a nice little fact for you. We go way back. PS3 TNA 157 Rounders is proper baseball. At least to me, yeah, you're right. Actually, Rounders is closer to baseball than cricket. I'm trolling anyway. Willy Biddy Woo said, "Did you used to watch wrestling on Saturday morning with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks?" I have watched it, a lot of it, back retrospectively when they started broadcasting it on the wrestling channel, because I am too young to be able to remember when British wrestling was on television, sadly. But I have got to watch all the reruns on YouTube and the wrestling channel, and I'm a big fan of it. Love it. Les Kellett, like, you familiar with him? Great entertainer. What else have we got? I'm going to try and catch up. Game Nasty. If someone where I came from that has a Super Nintendo, they were either a single child family or rich. Where are you from, Game Nasty? I would agree. In my school, the Super Nintendo was less prolific as well. Most people had a Mega Drive. I was lucky enough to have a Super Nintendo, actually, but that was because I had an uncle who was 12 years older than me, and he got the Super Nintendo to play Street Fighter. That's what he replaced his Amstrad with, I believe. And I remember going around a friend's house, because my uncle would never let me play. "You're not playing on my Super Nintendo. It's worth a lot of money. Like you said, you're too young. I don't want you to break it," which is all nonsense. Like, why am I going to break a Super Nintendo just playing a controller? But yeah, he was quite precious over it. But yeah, one of my friends, who was, funny enough, a single child. He lived in he lived with his mum, but he had a dad as well, and his dad was very wealthy. He lived in an area called Dulwich. If anyone's familiar with it, Dulwich is where Margaret Thatcher had a home, and it's where Nigel Farage is from as well. So Dulwich is a money area. And I remember going around his dad's house when I was a kid, and he had a full-blown snooker table in his conservatory. And again, if you're not familiar with a snooker table because you're in the US, know the sport pool or billiards, where you've got the green table where you pop the balls. Snooker is similar, but it's got different rules and different coloured balls. But imagine a pool table, but instead it's 4 times the size. These things are ginormous, and he had one in his house. Anyway, he had a Mega Drive with loads of games, which was all around his mum's house, what his dad was buying from all the time. And I played Sonic the Hedgehog, and I fell in love with it instantly. So I went home to Mum, I want a Sega Mega Drive. And it was from then, mine was like, "What do you mean it was a Sega Mega Drive? Sega Mega Drive's out of date. Don't get him a Sega Mega Drive. Get him a Super Nintendo. It's much, much better." And it was like, "Here, let me lend you mine." So then suddenly he'd never let me play Super Nintendo, and he lent me it. So I'd sit up in my room all night for hours, probably about 7 years old, playing the hell out of Street Fighter 2, Star Wing, Star Fox for you guys in the US. And I loved those games. And yeah, he was right. And I said, "Mum, I want a Super Nintendo for Christmas instead." And I got one this Christmas. Mario All-Stars came out. So that is how I got a Super Nintendo. So thank you to my uncle for that influence. Very good influencing uncle. What else have we got? Alunium. I keep struggling with the way you've got your name written. I remember when Brian Glover wrestled. What about Jimmy Savile? Who can remember when he wrestled? He used to wrestle all the time as well. Knuckle Sandwich. I was a wrestler as well years ago and trained with Mark Davis and Tony Storm. I've worked shows with Tony Storm on in the past. Bananarama says, "Only child for the win." Yeah, there are a lot of very spoiled only children out there. Say, Telepath, you know Will Ospreay? Awesome. Yes, I do know Will Ospreay very well. Used to come round my house all the time, or my parents' house more specifically, because that's where we had the ring and used to do a lot of training. June of the Raff says, "Super Nintendo was my first console, but that was in the 2000. Fun fact on Will Ospreay, I have given him before a Canadian destroyer off the top rope before, which is very uncharacteristic of the way I tend to wrestle, but because it's him, and you can see the way he moves and all that, I was confident to do a move like that on him and knew he'd be able to look after himself to some degree, because he has been like that, just as athletic. He's like a freak of nature, like Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, where he's been super gifted and athletic like that since he was 14 years old. The boy, or I guess his man now, he's in his 30s, but it's hard not to think of him as a boy. He's a freak of nature. And it's weird, like, back then there was a lot of people we trained with who was equally, they could also do a lot of like flippy cool stuff and that, and it wasn't common in wrestling. How long are we talking about? 16 years ago? So it wasn't common, but everyone we was training with, not everyone, there was about 4 or 5 who could do it, but he could do it maybe a bit better than the rest of them. And Yeah, little did I know that one day he would become one of the biggest names in wrestling. And these days, there's people comparing him like athletically to the likes of Kurt Angle and Bret Hart. And an argument could be made. He's technically probably one of the most athletic wrestlers who've ever lived. So yeah, nice little story there. Yeah, it's good to see that he is doing so well. Game Nice says, I'm from Derry. Mr. Nasty. Sorry, mate. Yeah, you threw me off with Game Nasty. Yes, I am familiar with you're in my Discord, aren't you? Good sir. I've looked at your channel before. Mark Walcott, I love Mariah May. I've worked on shows with Mariah May as well, a lot more recently than obviously Will Ospreay and Toni Storm as well, because she has only hit the big time, I believe, quite recently. The last time I wrestled on a show with her was in a little town in Essex called Whittam in the town hall. Dip Singh says, Dip Singh, how about live streams of you doing playthroughs? I'd watch potentially. I don't know how good I'd be at the multitasking aspects. Now, a lot of people do, but it's not as easy as it to play a game and be engaged with a lot of people chatting. I do like to talk to people. So here is a Discord link for people who do like to talk. Come join me over in Discord. I've been plugging it throughout the evening. Let's see if there's more people who I need to say hello to since the last time I did this. Okay, so hello. These are the new people who've joined Discord since last time I gave you call outs. Lee Fox McLeod 05 has joined. Morgan Def has joined. Lizus has joined. Raf has joined. Johan Pasakovic has joined. Jaded has joined. Thank you to all of you for becoming new Discord members. Shree says, I'm coming back. Is that what that means? Hey, what's up, Top Hat? I'm coming back. I'm confused what's going on here. What else have we got? I'm trying to catch up again. Don't you miss Fire Pro Wrestling Series? Mahmood, I have not given enough time to the Fire Pro Wrestling Series. Do you think I need to change that? No Mercy for the Nintendo 64 was always my favourite wrestling game. There's some good mods of that, actually. Nick Gemini 12, Ants Keeps Gaming. Thank you for both of you joining my Discord as well. Philip Ido, what's your favourite era of wrestling? Attitude Era. The wrestling might not have been the greatest, but I don't believe wrestling is about the actual athleticism of it. Wrestling should be about the character work and the crowd reactions you could generate, and they've never done better than during that time. Like The Rock and Stone Cold, they're just untouchable, aren't they? We've not had anyone as good as either of those two since. Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, yes, very entertaining. Phil Monster, by the way, are you Lady Decade a couple? Yes, we are. We are married and have been married for now 10 years. And we have been a couple for, God, time goes fast, 18 years. So yeah, very, very long time. We are getting old. Petamol said, I had a Game Boy, but my folks would never let me on any console, especially one that needed a TV set. Nowadays, it just plays I just play Pokemon Go sometimes. You said that you wouldn't stream like that due to inhibiting interaction. Does that mean I'm coming back? That's true. I could always have a second. I could play games if I had a second on with me. So someone could do colour, someone could play by play. That'd be nice. Telebath says, what is your wish list for Street Fighter 6? More characters. Much more characters. So that's what I'd like to see more of. So who would I like to see in it? I'd like to see Dudley. Dudley's great. Vega, that's another great character the game should have. Skullomania, can't see it happening, but I'd love to see Skullomania. Geese Howard is a good dastardly villain. Who else would be good additions? Yeah, I'll leave you with those for now. Comment, some of you, if there's others you would like to see. Chris Jericho is very good. I do love Chris Jericho. He is definitely up there as one of the GOATs. Even though he's starting to look more and more like a goat as the years go by. We've got to give him that. Callum Pratt, yeah, you're the one who just said that. What are you drinking in that glass? It is Coke. Lots and lots of Coke. I love Coke. Or Pepsi, to be more precise. Hot take, Top Hat. I actually like Luke Sullivan, and I think you're being too harsh with him. You got to remember, Alexander, I'm a bit of a troll as well. I'll be honest. I don't have overly strong feelings to Luke. He's not my sort of Street Fighter character, but I've not got anything overly against him. Although I don't like his little TikTok dances. No. Sadly, the Chinese are developing their own Streets of Rage game called Soul of Rage. Check out the beta review. Very interesting. Maybe I will. Bring back Karen to Street Fighter. Yes, why not? Or Rainbow Mika. I'd rather see than Karen, personally. Do you still have the MB Microvision used for the review, and does it still work? Jason Cairns, I do indeed have the Microvision still in my possession. I don't sell anything generally, so everything you've seen in videos in the past. Do you know what's silly? I've been talking I should have been talking this side the whole time, looking this way, because this is where the bloody camera is. Bloody fool. I've been looking over there all night. Like, this is better for engagement, isn't it? Looking at you guys. I am a ridiculous man sometimes. Yeah, I do still have the Microvision, but I don't know if it works. I've not tried it out in about 5 years. So those screens are pretty strange, aren't they? Macho Man Randy Savage with cream of the crop. Yes, he is amazing. I do love the Macho Man, but who doesn't? The Jericho Chronicles in AEW. A lot of people don't like his learning tree gimmick, but I think it's hilarious. Like, people are chanting at him, please retire. And he goes, thank you, I deserve that. Like, that is good work. I like it. Telepath, if any wrestler can guest star in a fighting game, what wrestler and game would you choose? For the memes, I'm going to say, if you can class it as a fighting game, Super Smash Brothers, I would like to see John Cena in Super Smash Brothers. Nick Angelo says, I'm happy I got to go. Great chat. Yeah, great for you to join us. Thank you very much. If you've not done it already, you may very well have. There's my Discord if you want to join. And that goes for everyone. So if you want to chat during the week, I'll be backwards and forwards all the time. We can. And that goes to everyone. For Learning Tree, we learn something. Sagarts, yeah, you got to have Sagart and Dudley in Street Fighter. Hagar would be nice. Damned, Eddie E, Geki, Lee El Fute, Alex, do you prefer any kind of music like rock or metal? Very interesting question, Pessimore. I've explained this on streams in the past. I don't actually listen to music. I suffer from what's called musical anhedonia. So I do not have that. So basically, when a lot of people listen to music, they get a nice dopamine fix from it, from the reward receptors that buzz in their brain. Don't get that. No dopamine fix from music for me, which is very annoying. The closest I'll get is, rather than enjoy a piece of music for a piece of music, I could hear a piece of music from, say, a game, for example, and enjoy playing that game, and then kind of like the piece of music because I like it for associating it with playing that game. So I can enjoy music, but on a different level to most people. Bizarre, eh? Yes, I've not met that many people like, but I know there are others out there. So yes, in the comments, if you are like me and you've got a musical anhedonia where you don't enjoy music for the sake of music, comment. Because I don't know how. I think it's because it's not that socially acceptable to admit that, if that makes sense. Because music is such an important part of culture, especially growing up. So, like, even is a funny fact. When I was younger, and before I was even dating my wife, we was in a group of friends together on a bus, and she like let me listen to her music on her earphones, where we was getting to know each other. We wasn't dating or anything. We were just a girl and a boy talking, and I pretended to show interest in her music because I liked her. So that's the sort of thing you have to do if you've got a musical anhedonia. Is that coercive? Is it not? Comment below. Sep says, you have a lovely musical voice. Thank you very much. Mahmood says, as a musical composer, I totally understand that. Thank you. Funnily enough, like Street says, when I do music for videos, a lot of the time my editor does them, but occasionally I will do the music myself. And he will comment that he reckons I've got a good ear for making the music go with the videos, because I listen to music differently than other people would. Because I'm listening to it more of, does this music go with what I'm seeing on the screen more than how the music's making me feel, if that makes any sense. Alan says, I pretended to like Linkin Park for one of my exes. Telepath says, what place would you recommend a tourist to visit in the UK first? That's an interesting question. It depends what you're looking for, really. It really does depend. It really does. That is a difficult question. Obviously, London, you've got all of the main sites. Well, a lot of tourists would want to see. Houses of Parliament, Buckingham Palace, Tower Bridge, London Bridge, Big Ben, all of that stuff. And it is a big, impressive city, especially if you don't live near a big, impressive city. Like, I've been around quite a lot, and London is pretty similar to... It's like New York City, only with like older stuff. That's the best way of describing London. London and New York, they're eerily similar to one another. So it depends what you want. Cambridge is cool, like especially if you're like a Harry Potter fan. Like, Cambridge feels very Hogwartsy, and for that reason, there are literally Hogwarts gift shops like every few feet. Where else would I recommend? I've never been, but a lot of people go on about the Lake District being very beautiful. I've been up to Scotland. I recommend a place called Loch Lomond. Again, very beautiful, very scenic. I would recommend trying a delicacy called pie mash in places like South East London, East London. Pie mash and green liquor, jelly deals. You got to love jelly deals, haven't you? Absolutely delicious. Although I can't eat them anymore because, as I said, I'm allergic to fish these days. But yeah, comment below if you're a big fan of jelly deals. Delicious. You got to love British food. Alexander says, do you think there is a Darkstalkers conspiracy that Dietary might be Donovan's father? Potentially. I'll have to ask. I forgot his name. But the guy who come out of a lot of characters, he has agreed to an interview in the future. So I should do that. I can't think of his name, but he's Alex Jimenez, I believe he is. Alex Jimenez has agreed that he will let me interview him at some point. So I can ask him some Darkstalkers questions when I get around to doing that. Sorry, our recommendations, people venturing outside of central London. Lunacy. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? A lot of people go to England and they just go to London. Very busy, very annoying. Not a big fan. I'm a Londoner myself, you see. And I got out as soon as I could, as soon as I hit 16. Horrible city. I don't like it. I think it's a shithole. Like New York City, as I said, if you've been New York City, you've basically been London. They're very similar. Lakes and Cotswolds is stunning. Yeah, I agree. Cotswolds is pretty beautiful as well. Oh, Cornwall. You got to go Cornwall. Like, people don't even associate places that look like Cornwall with the UK. Oro versus Akuma rematch. Score Avensis. How are you doing? How is Hotel Mario at the moment? He's looking after my copy of Hotel Mario for me. So yeah, thank you. How are we doing, Score? London is beautiful. It's not. Be honest. It's a massive, massive, embarrassing shithole. What does not reflect the rest of the country. It's a horrible city. Shithole. And I'm from there. Let's invite people. Okay, so Discord. If you want to chat during the week, and again, there will only be a couple of people talking at once. So we will be able to talk on a much more personal basis. If you haven't already, there's a Discord link, everyone. And since the last time I spoke in here, so far we've had Walket Mark. I'm probably not pronouncing your name right. I'll just call you Mark, has joined. Thank you, Mark, for joining the Discord. It has some nice architecture. It does. London does have some nice architecture. That is, that's the best it gets. Bananarama. I lived in LA and I take 8 hours to drive 40 miles some day. Yes, I've been in LA. I've been in LA and I agree. LA, I think it might be a bigger shithole than London. I can't stand LA. What a horrible, disgusting place. LA, shithole. New York City, shithole. London, shithole. Yeah, I don't... it's weird, isn't it, that so many people cram into the worst places countries have to offer. It's like what's wrong with society? I know there's more money to be made in these places, but what's the point when you've got such a shitty life and having to use public transport and all other horrible things like that? It's like, why? Why do people love London, New York and LA? Disgusting places. Jason Ken, seriously, has anyone here seen the is that Sega Master System port of Wolfenstein 3? It's really impressive. I have never seen a Sega Master System port of Wolfenstein 3D, but that does sound like potential juicy content. I'm familiar with Sega Mega Drive, the Brazilian Sega Mega Drive version of Doom, which is also very cool. Athens is also a mess. Yes, I have purposely always avoided Athens, Petamol. Is that where you're from? Or are you from somewhere else in Greece? I am very, very fortunate. My parents own a house in Malia, in Crete. So I get to go there during a lot of my summers. And yeah, Crete is lovely. But a lot of people over there have said, don't go Athens. It is a shithole. So I've purposely avoided it. But I do want to go there because I want to see the Parthenon. I've still never got to see the Parthenon. And when you've literally lived a big chunk of your life in Greece, like me, going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, it feels sad to have never gone to the capital. So I probably will go to it. So I've been to Athens airport passing through like a million times, but I've never left the doors of the airport. I have been to Chicago as well, and I thought that was a shithole too, if I'm honest. I don't like major cities. Not most of them, yeah, most major cities. I'm not a city. I like cities, but there's a limit, if that makes sense. Like, I can just about cope with like a Norwich or a Cambridge. or a Warsaw, or a Budapest. But these big ones, they're horrible. Kurg TV. When I was in Europe, everyone I mentioned I was from New York too would light up and go on about how much they love New York City. Was in Europe, yeah, but maybe were they from countries where they haven't got a London? Because London is quite unique to Europe, if that makes sense. Like London is just like LA and it's just like New York, but the rest of Europe hasn't got a city like that, if that makes sense. They got cities, but they're not even close to the scale. Like I believe the next biggest, like I think London has like 9 million people, and I could be wrong here, but I think the next biggest after that are places, if we're talking Western Europe anyway, like unless we go to like Russia and Turkey, the next biggest would be places like Berlin and Paris, and they've only got like 2 million, 3 million people, so they're tiny in comparison to the likes of LA, New York, and London. So I can see the novelty. If you're not from London, or if you've never lived in one of those mega cities, I guess I can see the appeal. But if you're from one of them, you get sick of them very quick. Score says London is fine as long as you don't make me live there. Exactly. It's a fun to go for a day out. But if you're like me and had to live there for 16 years and had never known anything else in your life other than this big shithole city, then yeah, you'd see a problem. Tune of Wrath, Texas. Matt Boyce, Truro. Truro, my brother used to live near Truro. Hugh Lee says, how did you go from wrestling to video games? Funnily enough, I've always been collecting. So when I started collecting long before I was involved with wrestling, and it's because I was involved with video production as well. And that was like the commonality between both of them. I got into wrestling through video production. So before I was interested in wrestling myself, I was interested in filming it. But people wasn't doing things the way I would have liked them to be doing things. So I wanted to get on the front line myself. And that's essentially how I got into wrestling. With regards to the YouTube, again, it was kind of the same thing. I'd built up this collection all these years, and then I was watching a load of YouTube, and I was thinking, you know what? A lot of you are really boring, monotone bastards. I could do better than this. So I decided I'd start my own channel. And yeah, it's gone all right, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of great YouTubers as well, a lot who inspired me. Like I'd say one of my biggest inspirations back in the day. Huge fan, as I would imagine a lot of the rest of you are, James Rolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd. So good. His early content was pioneering, wasn't it? Such a great YouTuber. Who else loved the Angry Video Game Nerd back in the day? So entertaining. What have we got? Who's Kenny Omega but in reverse? Patrick will say, airports make it really convenient to do Crete on one way. No blame there. I would also do it. Yeah, it just brings the price down a lot of the time. So if you fly from London directly to Crete, it can be a lot more expensive sometimes than going London, Athens, Crete. Danny Muniz enjoys the content. Thank you, Danny. Trains don't stop at Cambourne on Wednesdays. Churro, yes, whatever. Banana Rama said, big cities offer young people who want to have adventures. Everyone else just thinks they're gross and annoying. Yeah, but if you was like me, who was a young person living in a city, you'd find them gross and annoying as well. If you're born, it's like what? It's like the Bane meme, isn't it? I can't remember what is the Bane quote. Bane quote. The one about born into it, moulded by it into it. You didn't know London until you was already a man. It's that nonsense, isn't it? So like, if you've put up with it your whole life, yeah, you'll hate it. What is the quote I'm looking for? I'm going to look it up. What is it? Bane quote about being moulded by it. What's the quote I'm looking for? So yeah, this is how I feel about London when you talk about all the hipsters and weirdos who have moved in there. I'd say to, oh, you think London is your LA? You merely adopted it. I was born into it, moulded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. But then it was nothing to me but blinding, and that's how I feel. In fact, here's something that will probably make you laugh. Like a lot of you as well, I grew up as a huge fan of Final Fantasy. I found the Sector 7 slums and them all living underneath the plate as very relatable to the life I had in London. I was growing up in this shithole surrounded by council estates, ugly graffiti everywhere, gangs, knife crime. So yeah, Final Fantasy 7 I found a very relatable game. And to some extent, the bit where they leave the city and then there's that big lovely green open world when they finally get out of Midgar. That's how it felt for me, escaping London. Congratulations to Street on finishing your fucking essay. Well done. Street is a mature student. I shouldn't put too much emphasis on the word mature, I suppose, but big up to him for being in his 30s and doing a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. So well done. It is harder being a mature student. I took my second degree as a mature student as well. So very well done for that. Yes, less of a mature, mate. Exactly that. But well done on getting your essay done. So yeah, Angry Video Games Nerd's hairline. I've always wanted to visit Middlesbrough. There's so much going on. But yeah, his hairline has changed over the years. I do think it's missed though. Like, he has lost all of this hair. And I find it so bizarre that he was always so great at the character work. But he's completely ignored the fact that he's going bald and not worked it into his character. Like, what's that about? Like, your whole gimmick was getting angry, where his whole gimmick was getting angry about all of these old games and getting really stressed out of them, about them. Surely it would make sense for him to be going, oh, I've played so many games and they've stressed me out so much that they've made me go bald. That's funny, isn't it? But so just ignoring it. Why is he ignoring the fact he's going bald? It'd be so much more entertaining if he played into it. I don't get it. Let me know. What do you think of that, chat? Alexander says, surprised you didn't pull a beat-em-up protagonist of Fight All the Gang single-handed. No, it's sadly not the same in real life. Sam says, blame the LJN games. He wears a baseball cap now. He's really self-conscious about it, probably. That is true. In fact, I can understand. I completely sympathise with people who are balding because I know exactly what that feels like. Because during the summer, one night, I looked in the mirror and I was like, what the fuck? All my hair's fallen out. It's all gone. And then I woke up and I felt really, really sorry for bald people. And I was like, oh my God, I am so pleased I've got this lovely head of hair. Like, what would I do without it? Like, you seen the film Scrooge or A Christmas Carol or whatever? And he has the ghost of Christmas past and all that visit him, and then he wakes up all jolly the next day going, yes, it's Christmas. That's what happened to me. I woke up, yes, I've got hair. That's exactly what happened to me. So yeah, I understand why he would feel that way, because I felt how he felt if he feels that way in my dream I had. No greys, not in my main hair. There's a few in my beard, which I do find upsetting. So it's going to be soon. I'm going to have to shave it off completely and go bald on the face to make myself look younger, or I am going to have to start dyeing the beard. Probably have to shave it all off. You should shave your beard off if you get older anyway, because you use it to make yourself look more mature, don't you, when you're younger? And as you get older, you get rid of it to make yourself look younger. It's a nice little life hack. Sep, I bet you was a gang like in Clockwork Orange. I love Clockwork Orange. Great film. I do love Pepsi. Right, so as I've kept saying, I do have a Discord. I know some of you have probably been here a while, but if you're popping in and out throughout tonight, and you've only just joined us. If you want to chat to me personally or anyone about beat 'em ups, fighting games, retro gaming, or anything, just general chat. We've got a nice community over here on my Discord, so join and come and say hello. And the latest person who has joined, who I will say hello to now, is Yikon, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Hello to you, Yikon, who is the latest person to join my Discord server. So thank you for that. Pesmore, imagine if you wake up and you see Simon when you look in the mirror. Who are we talking about here? Are we talking about Simon Miller by any chance? Or is it a reference I am missing? Because Simon Miller is a very bald man. Sid Supporter says, wow, I never saw you with your hat off. Nice hair reveal. Thank you. I used Head and Shoulders today. Mark Shaolin Monks, best beat 'em up created. Season with us says, slowly but surely losing mine at the front, and I have long hair. Do you think long term you might go for a skullet like Hulk Hogan? There's not enough skullets. We need more skullets. Yes, Simon Miller. He is a very bald, isn't he? Very bald-headed man. I liked slapping when I wrestled him, I got him in a waist lock, and then I did a takedown, and then I done that spinny thing what you do on top of people, like angled this, and then I slapped his bald head. Alexander Goober says, so Top Hat, what did you think of Final Fight Streetwise? Also, do you think Kyle deserves a second chance? No, Final Fight Streetwise is awful. Horrible game. And no, I do not think Kyle deserves a second chance. Only if I was trying to troll people. That's like saying they should make a Super Mario Brothers the movie too. They should make a Super. Thank you, Sepp. I am very handsome. Thank you very much. So yeah, I've only got a few greys in my beard. But yeah, with regards to Final Fight Streetwise, no, not a fan, and not a fan of Kyle either. And Glover Man 8295 and Matt B, thank you to both of you for joining my Discord server. Cody Travers is an only child. I'm getting confused. Cody, yes, exactly. He is an only child. Let's keep it that there. Let's accept he is an only child. That sounds great to me. So I'm just checking my... Okay, so I tomorrow have to write some videos. What would you like to see coming up on the channel soon, everyone? What should we produce? Or what should I produce for the channel? What you would like to see? I know what I'm making this week, but I can put stuff on the back burner. What shall I make? Vampire Savior video. I do want to make a big Darkstalkers video, but like I said, I've been offered an interview with Alex Jimenez, who is one of the designers of the characters. So I will conduct that interview first before I cover any more Darkstalkers. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I covered that extensively last year. So I'm up to date with that at the moment. Mustafa Shakir. What did you think of Another World and Flashback games? Oh, I've not put a great deal of time into them. They've never grabbed me, if I'm honest. I have played them, but they've not grabbed me enough to put a great deal of time into them. But I didn't get to experience them in their prime. They're games I didn't play till I was an adult. Alex Zander says, what's the worst new protagonist in fighting games? I've said this before on my channel. I don't like... Alex, that was from Street Fighter 3. That's how old I am. Luke from Street Fighter 6. And I'm not a fan of Jamie either. I don't like either of those boys. International Karate or Barbarian? International Karate. Oh, yeah, International Karate. Sepp, Jet Grind Radio. Raphael, Tech Romancer. I've never done Tech Romancer. That's one I've never covered on the channel. Rival schools, but focus on the school sims and all the extras that were left out of the West. Or did I do Tech Romancer in one of my omnibuses when... Is Tech Romancer in Capcom Fighting Collection 2? I can't remember now. If it is, then I did make a video on it. Yeah, not a fan of Luke. What's your thoughts on G from Street Fighter 5 and JP from Street Fighter 6? These are two of my faves. I like their designs, but I think they're wasted lore-wise. Like, they've not done enough with them. Especially G. Like, they brought him in as the mystery man at the end of Street Fighter 5, and they've not got him in Street Fighter 6. Have you ever heard of a game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows? It was an online Arkham Combat style beat-em-up for the Turtles. I have heard of it, indeed. What about Chase HQ? I like Chase HQ. I played it years ago, a lot of it, on the FM Towns Marty, which I've got a video on. That is a really obscure console. Ever heard of that? It was one of the first 32-bit systems. Came out around the same time as the Amiga CD32. Or 32 CD, I can't... CD32, isn't it? Judge Dredd, the arcade game? Or are you just doing Capcom games? I could think about that. So, yeah, I do stuff more than just Capcom. Everyone almost always agrees Patroclus Alexandria was the worst new protagonist. What game's he from? Cantro 7, the only new character they've done that stuck is Jury, which is sad. Yeah, Jury's the most popular, isn't it, by a mile out of anyone who's come past Street Fighter 2. There is some others, though. Alpha brought in a few popular characters. Sakura is really popular. Dan Hibiki. Yeah, so there's a few. Dudley's quite appreciated. Jury's the big one, you're correct. But I don't think Sakura or Dan Hibiki are far behind. Didn't the FM Towns Marty have lots of those games on it? It does indeed. The same as the PC FX. Do you remember that system? That has lots of those games on as well. It's the Japanese exclusive consoles, isn't it? What is your favourite beat 'em up of all time, and why is it Streets of Rage 2? Streets of Rage 2 is the best retro console beat 'em up. But I really like the modern ones. Some of the modern ones are so good. But again, picking what's the best, that's really hard to say because they're all brilliant. Like Streets of Rage 4, Shredder's Revenge, Double Dragon Gaiden, and what's the other one? Fight and Rage and Mother Russia Bleeds. They're all top tier games. Amazing beat 'em ups. Alpha is more of my time, and for sure those are staples now. Yes, definitely. Yeah, but no one wants like Dan's feet like Jury. That is true. That is true. But for those who are interested, he does show them, doesn't he? Agreed about G. They called him the boss of Street Fighter 5. He's literally no one's boss except Dan in a dream fight. If they have plans for him, they're wasting time. I think we'll get more JP later in the seasons, hopefully. Potentially. But you never know with Street Fighter. They tend to just build lore around the Street Fighter 2 characters, don't they, and fob a lot of the rest of the other ones off, which is sad. So, thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for the kind donations as well. A few of you gave me some super chats, which very appreciated. So, I'll ask you one more time. Here is my Discord. I will carry on talking to you via text over there for a good 10-15 minutes. So yeah, come join me on my Discord and we will continue chat there. Thank you for watching and tune in this Thursday for a super deep dive on every Streets of Rage game ever, all in one. So yeah, the road to Streets of Rage